Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you to another episode of the Mountain Dew Review. Today we have KAS the Prophet on.
Hello.
We are on our fourth episode now, so that's a good thing. We're kicking off Suicide Prevention Month. We had Bobo the Bread Boy on last talking about mental health awareness. I'm pretty sure we'll touch it again this time around. I know a little bit about KAS and his influences, so we'll see how far down the rabbit hole we go on that one. So we first like to start off, KAS, with where'd you grow up and
I grew up here in Omaha. Right, went to Miller South for a little. Well, I was enrolled, but ended up graduating MLC. Now I'm over in Council Bluffs.
Council Kentucky?
Yep, over in Council Kentucky. But yeah, I grew up over here, so Omaha's home.
Basically, if you live in the area, Bellevue, Papillion, La Vista, you're Omaha. I don't care what anybody says. Council Bluffs, you're still Omaha. Most of them people come over here.
Exactly. Like Council Bluffs is I look at it as like Kansas City almost. Like
yeah,
you got Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas City, Kansas. I'm like it's Omaha still. Like
you can't do much in Council Bluffs without coming to Omaha.
Right.
I mean, I hate to say it that way.
There ain't really much out there.
No, you end up. I notice more people from Council Bluffs definitely come to Omaha than.
Yeah, I've been
Omaha
there for 4 years now, and I don't know any of Council Bluffs. I know how to get to work and to a couple stores, and that's it.
I know how to get to my aunt's uncle's house and like 2 friends, and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't. Everybody's like, I'm like, dude, I had no reason to be in Council Bluffs. Like,
Yeah.
I'm from Omaha. The city's bigger. There's nothing in Council Bluffs that's not in Omaha.
Exactly.
Like, they even got a Jonesy's Taco House in Council Bluffs, which is actually better than the one in Omaha. But I'll still go to the one in Omaha because I don't want to.
See, I haven't tried that place yet. I've heard about it, but I haven't
like,
tried it.
Their pork tenderloin sandwiches, man. Like any other pork tenderloin. I mean, they're okay. They're American tacos.
Oh, okay.
They're not real.
I like the authentic.
Yeah, they're not real Hispanic tacos. They're fried ground beef white man tacos. So don't go there expecting, like some good cheek and tongue. Langue is probably my favorite. So growing up here, when did you first start getting into the music scene?
I actually started writing back when I was in like middle schoolish. Elementary, I was really influenced by Linkin Park when they came out. And like as soon as I heard them, I'm like, oh, I want to do music. And like I followed ICP, Juggalo my whole life. And
Whoa.
Whoop whoop. And that's where a lot of my influence, I guess, in my music kind of comes from. So started more in like high school. I joined a group with a couple of homies that we did a couple things, and then one of them dipped out. We took everything with him and turned it to solo stuff and some dirty stuff there, and quit for a little while. Then I started getting back into it, working with Trilogy. He's over in Chicago, Flint area, and he was like on tour with Twisted and ICP. I drove him to a few shows, opened up for Twisted in Chicago, and I worked his merch there.
Nice.
So I kind of got in that way again, and working with a couple of other homies like Deadeye, and started promoting shows. And Trilogy was actually my first show I've ever threw. I actually put C10 on that show, and it was his first show he's ever performed on.
Nice.
Had
I'll be
Noise
having
Wave,
C10 on here.
and King Killa was supposed to be there, but he unfortunately was sick. So, I mean, that was my first show, and then I started working with my wife, brother-in-law Jeff Graham, and my sister Kendra.
Yep.
And holographic music, started promoting shows, and then I'm like, I want to get back into music. I'm tired of just sitting here watching, and started writing again, and then here I am now. So
Nice. So, obviously we know, clearly, Jeff Rom and Kendra Rom. Vocally, other than, Jeff and Kendra, who are you kind of influenced by locally to?
I've always been a huge Noise Wave fan. I like them a whole lot. King ISO.
It was just his birthday.
Yes, it was. And those are like pretty much some of the older people, I guess, around here that influenced me. Because back in 2006, my sister started dating, like hanging out with Ram and whatnot, and I would go around, ride on my bike, skateboard around town, and hang up flyers for them. So I guess that's kind of technically too where I started as well, as working with those guys and some other cats that aren't around anymore. But you know, it is what it is. It's the game. Like Articulate, he's not really around as much. I liked him a whole lot, but I kind of worked my way into it with those older cats, and I like a lot of these younger cats coming out too now.
And that's I definitely love our younger crowd that's coming out and popping up. A lot of them sound so much different, and
Yeah.
just it's I like our scene a lot.
I like how there's not really like too many mainstream sounding people. Like,
Yes, everybody sound. There's a few that sound the same here, but almost everybody has a different, unique taste.
Yeah, I
Or
think that's
sound.
like one cool thing about Omaha is like we're like pretty much middle of the map, and you like if you're a southern artist, you're more influenced by the southern music, and
Yeah,
then, like
and
but
you can-
we're like the cluster where
You can
kinda
see
get
where we
everything.
all meet together here
Yeah.
because we have so much. You know, you get some trap rap, and you get some southern rap, and you get some guys that sound like they're from the East Coast but they're Midwest. And
Yeah.
It's just, and then you get guys that have fucking 4 different genres of hip hop in one album that sounds amazing.
Absolutely, like there's so much talent here. Omaha's definitely slept on.
It's we'll fix that. We'll fix that.
Absolutely.
ISO's helping, Tabo's helping. We got
Right.
we got a lot of big names building up, and then the little guys that are building up is going to help.
Absolutely.
You know, we got great promoters here like Devin and Justin Strawstone and Doug Smith bringing in some nice acts from out of town, which gives us local guys a chance to open for a national act, which in
Absolutely.
turn gives you more of a fan reach, which is
Yeah.
awesome. And then when them opening acts come to Omaha and see, oh wow, these guys bringing a crowd, their crowd's awesome, them guys on stage perform like they're performing for 1 million people, I want to come back to Omaha. And the
Right.
more and more people come back here, the bigger we're going to blow up.
Yeah, like the scene's gotten pretty big in the last few years. I feel like because we started throwing shows. I want to say 2017, 2018 ish, I think. And there wasn't as much hip hop going on when we started, and then it started taking off a little bit more and more.
And that's something I've noticed within the last 5 years too. You know, early between 2004 to 2010ish, there was a big,
Oh yeah,
nice
big,
niche,
huge.
and then it kind of dropped a bit. But I've noticed that it's definitely been steadily on the rise again.
Yeah, I
big
think it was
time.
probably better than when it was back in like the '06 era. Like, there's a lot more going on.
There's a lot more going on, but I like that style of hip hop and rap back then. So
Yeah, I mean,
kind of.
those Omaha '06 was great.
It's hard not to love Noise Wave
Yeah.
from my high school days. That's just sorry, Zach and AP and everybody. I don't mean to call you out on your age, but
You're all old.
You motherfuckers are old.
Yeah, I remember growing up listening to Rowdy on 89.7, and then finally meeting him in person. I thought I was like meeting some big celebrity. I'm like, oh my god, you're AP from 89.7 and Noise Wave. I'm, like,
I'm
oh.
I'm glad you say that because every time I ran into them guys in public, like Surreal at Cubby's or something, I'd make a big fucking deal about it, and everybody's like, "What's the?" I'm like, "You don't know that's Surreal?"
But that's surreal from Noise Wave.
They're like, "Who the fuck's Surreal?" And I'm like, maybe he's just that big of an artist in my head.
Right.
If you guys knew how big of rock stars you were in my head, you motherfuckers would be surrounded by groupies.
Exactly.
So then, if you had a dream collab, so we know, you know, locally who kind of your influences were growing up and who you like, but if you had a dream collab or just to work with somebody, it doesn't have to be, you know, vocals. You can have somebody that does instrumentals. Holy shit! If that word
Words.
come, words. That's why I don't rap. Just so you guys know, ooh, why don't I rap? That's because I can barely talk. That's why.
Struggles real sometimes.
Super real. So, like, say you can do, you know, you can get a Slash on the guitar, or you can get White Stripes, or Fergie, you know, like,
I mean,
who would you like to work with if you had a chance to?
if I have a chance, I would love to do a song with Keith Richards on the guitar, and then with Method Man as well.
All right.
I think that would be super cool.
That's one of the unique combinations I've heard now. I've heard each one separately, but I've
Yeah.
never heard them together like that.
I think it'd be kind of cool, little mixture. I mean, depends on which Keith Richards you're getting.
As long as he's not hit by that coconut, right?
Yeah. But I mean, my mom was a huge Rolling Stones fan growing up, so that I heard it pretty much Rolling Stones every day of my life until she passed away. So and I still listen to him all the time. So I would love to do something because she loved Keith Richards. So that I think that would be kind of cool. And Method Man's always been one of my favorites. So
Definitely. And so, I've listened to a lot of your music. Some of these guys might not have. So, I kind of want to touch a little basis because you brought her up. Your mom seems to be like a really big inspiration, influence on your music.
yeah, with most of my music, there's a lot of times where I feel certain ways, and instead of doing something dumb or acting out on them, I just write. And it's like I actually found her, so like it hit me really hard. So I have a lot of songs where I'm just feeling like killing myself that day. I'm like, well, I'm gonna write it down instead of actually doing it because I know that's not the way I should go out. But it's like ever since then, it's like yeah, there's a few songs, quite a few songs where I go that touch that bass, but it's just who I am. It's like that's a part of me. I'm gonna let the world know.
No,
I'm normally like a real closed off person, don't like to talk about things, but with my music, I've actually been able to get a lot off my chest. So
and that's kind of been a recurring theme too with the artist I've been interviewing is again it's mental health awareness and when they feel doing self-harm or having no self-worth they'll go in and just start writing.
yeah, I mean,
and then when they're done they come out feeling a bit better about
it does
themselves.
feel a lot better. I mean, sit there and just when you're having a real bad day, like there's some times where I'll be writing a song and I'll be crying while I'm writing it, and just like the relief, I guess, of getting off your chest and instead of sitting there dwelling on it and feeling that pain, because I feel like that's what gets most people, especially as a man, where we don't feel like we can really talk about that kind of stuff. And
bottle it up and then
it's like, oh, tough
we
it up,
bottle it up
man
and
it
then
up.
go to a bottle.
Yeah.
That's
Like, man it
unfortunately
up. It's like okay.
And that's another stigma that needs to die. Real men cry.
Yeah.
Real men show emotion and have feelings. You're not a tough son of a bitch by being an asshole. You're just an asshole.
Exactly.
Remember that. Like it doesn't hurt to like bro, if your mom died and you don't cry about it, you're a douchebag.
Absolutely. It's like you must not love your mom then. Like,
yeah, you know what I mean?
Zero
Like,
feelings.
and then again, if you think about it, and it does. My father-in-law killed himself about 7 years ago, and every time I think about it, I still tear up and get a bit emotional about it, And so, if you bottle everything in, it's not going to end up well, and that's why I appreciate artists like KAS that put stuff like that on paper and let us hear it to know we're not alone. That's the most important part. That's why this scene's amazing and important. It again might not be your cup of tea, but I guarantee it's going to help somebody else. There's
Absolutely.
always somebody it's going to help, and that's what we need to focus on: helping other people while helping ourselves. And that's the greatest feeling you can ever get.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if I can help one person, then I did my job as an artist. Like I don't care if I make millions of dollars, but if I save one person's life, then it was worth it. So
Guarantee you've already done that easily. So, with that in mind, do you have a couple projects you're working on, or anything in the works?
I do. I have an album, my mixtape, I guess, dropping Confidential Volume 3. It's the third of the Confidential series, I guess. I got 1 and 2 out. I'm dropping the third one this October, and we'll be
right around the corner.
Yep, right around the corner. And then I will also be dropping September 30th. The single off of it featuring Eternal, formerly known as Model T, and Drama the Artist.
Sweet.
It's called Illy. It will be dropping September 30th on all major platforms, and I'm pretty stoked for this one.
Yeah, so Drama, the artist, does a bunch of merch game, all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Look him up if you guys are looking for posters, lighters, anything. Drama does some good work, just like Merch by Marcus. And then Eternal hosts Eternal Sundays,
Yep.
which you will be on this Sunday.
Yep, I will be on tomorrow.
So make sure you guys check that out by Eternal. Dope dude too.
Absolutely. Like I'm actually super excited for this one because I met him like few years ago. They were opening up for Stoner Jordan, and I was like, I want to work with you guys. And now, like 40 years later or so, it's finally happening. So
Yeah, he's a real cool cat. He's sent me some little tidbits here or there, and I hope I'll have him on here one day. There's so many of you guys. Like I said, I have 187 local artists on my list. You know, musicians, artists, jugglers, freaking magicians.
I like the number 187.
It's literally 187. I had to double check that. I thought it was like 160 something, but it's 187 of you guys. It's probably going to grow in the next couple of days when a couple more people add me.
Right.
But the only reason I know that number is I went through and deleted all the Cash apps. Because them guys drive me nuts. All of a sudden you start getting tagged and you're like, what the hell? Click on it and there's,
Yeah.
first person. You're like, all right, I got to go through my list and find, please, my local artist friends, clean up your friends list. So I quit accepting these friend requests because honestly, I think it's another artist, and then all of a sudden it's some shitty guy telling me name the first name that starts with a K and ends with an F, and he'll give me $1,000 on my Cash app.
Right. I've seen a lot of those. I've seen a few people I know, like accounts get hacked. Like Jay Lively.
Yes.
His account got hacked.
And then I feel so bad because then I automatically block them and reject them. And I'm like, I swear this was a real person at one point. Like, Facebook kind of sucks, but if it wasn't for Facebook, honestly, I wouldn't have met half of the artists in town. So yes, social media sucks, but social media is good.
Yes.
I mean, it helped me network a lot more than I would have. I'm kind of antisocial and would have never talked to you people in real life. And because I talked to you people on Facebook, you came up to me in real life and talked to me and brought me out of my shell. So thank you.
Yeah, that's kind of how I am. I'm like normally tucked off in a corner to myself. Like,
Yep.
unless someone comes up, I'll talk. And it's like if people think I'm like some kind of asshole or something. I feel like it's like, well, I'm just not like I'm just not a very social person. Like, if you want to come talk to me, talk to me. Then they're like, well, if we're not social, how can you get up on stage and rap? I'm like,
There's a difference between getting on stage and rapping and talking to people.
yeah.
Because when you're getting up on stage, you're not talking to anybody.
Right.
I mean, I guess you are,
Guess,
sort of.
in a way, yeah.
But you're in control of it 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there's a big difference on that. You're not going to get snagged with some stupid, weird question where you're like, dude, I don't want to talk to you no more.
Or some hour-long conversation I don't want to be in. It's like, oh my god.
So, my wife asked me one time, I was in a conversation with somebody and they kept sending me voice chats on Facebook, and my wife's like, why don't you just call them? I said, look, there's 38 one-minute conversations here, one-sided. I said, do you know how long of a phone conversation this would have been? I said, that's why I didn't call.
Yes. I also hate those voice messages. It's like, half the time I have someone I know who loves to send voice messages. I'm like, half the time I know they're going to be inappropriate to listen. So I was like, I can't pull up and listen to your message right now. So it's like, you're going to get ignored until I have time to actually listen to this dumb stuff you're going to say that's going to get me looked at all weird.
Yep,
like,
that's almost not important, but it's all good. Some people, I swear, it's like, man, you could have just texted that. Like,
Yeah,
why don't
like-
you move your thumb down to the other microphone button, click that one above the keyboard and talk.
Exactly. It's
All
like,
right.
I can read your message. I'll look at that right away. But if it's like a voice one, I'm like, I don't know what's going to be on this message. I'm just going to listen to that later.
And then I forget about it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's like checking your voicemail. That happens a lot too. I always forget to. So then we got some projects coming out. You got any shows coming out?
Right now, the only one I do have is in October. And it's under my new duo that we have a secret project we're working on.
Oh.
So I'm not going to give out too much information because
Just be on the lookout sometime in October.
we will be revealing all that here in the next few weeks. So I'm not going to give it away. If you know the show, if you can look around October 30th and see what shows, and if you see a group name that you've never seen before, then you figured it out. But
Looks like I'm about to be doing some sleuthing. Detective Adam's about to come on the scene.
And I also said I also do a show on Facebook called Revolution with the Mic on Saturday nights. It's been real wish-washy lately with my wife being pregnant and me working more, and so
Family duty calls,
but
bro.
it's Revolution with the Mic. And I also said on that show one day, if you can figure it out, there's a free merch pack included. So if you call it out and figure it out, you just let me know. Then there's a surprise.
You hear that, guys? Start doing some information. Get yourself some free merch again. Merch game. Make sure you guys, we very important. Very important, guys. I mean, I hate to say it, but you're not making money off of music. Nobody buys it. They steal it. I'm the weird one that buys it. So if you want to make money, make some sweet ass shirts like KAS and
Absolutely.
drop
Shout
some
out to
CDs.
my wife and Breations. She makes all my merch and all that, so hit her up.
He got keychains, and I don't have one with me up here. It's downstairs on my keys because it's my good luck keychain. Though it didn't bring me good luck when I got sideswiped on the motorcycle. But
Apparently it wasn't good luck.
But I also blame that on some dickhead not paying attention and just hitting me and driving off. But that's
Yeah.
alright. I survived. I walked away.
Yeah, that was.
So maybe it was good luck.
Yeah, I mean, he did
Because
walk
fucking
away.
85 miles an hour, I shouldn't have been able to stand up and start that motorcycle and drive it home.
Yeah.
Like, so, you know,
It
I
was
take
weird
that back.
because
It
I
probably
saw
did
you
bring
like
me
5
good luck.
minutes before that happened, and next thing you know, I'm like on Facebook, and I was like, what?
Craziest part was we literally were just talking about why I had stopped riding motorcycles 6 years prior because I had been hit on a motorcycle, and then 15 minutes later I get sideswiped and hit again. But so is life. Just smile, get up, be happy that you live another day. Some people don't, so I'm very thankful.
Yes.
Very, very thankful. You local guys have been really awesome, supportive. It's been really hard on me not working, not doing anything, and KAS has been checking on me. I mean, I've got at least 40 of you guys calling me, stopping over, just checking, just making sure I'm doing all right and staying busy and healthy, and I really appreciate that. You guys are such a great support system. Like I said, if it wasn't for you guys, I'd still be an alcoholic, and I no longer drink. And like I said before, I'd much rather spend my money on you guys than alcohol because you guys bring me so much better benefits than alcohol ever has.
And
So-
if it wasn't for you helping me out, I would still be an alcoholic. So, I mean,
Sober brothers. This man's doing great work, staying sober, staying clean. You know, and that's the thing. If you want to stay not drinking or not doing whatever you're doing, just remember, be selfish as fuck about it. Do it for yourself. Because if you're not doing it for yourself and you're doing it for somebody else, chances are you're gonna fail.
absolutely.
So make sure if you're working on some kind of sobriety issue, you're greedy and guilty as hell of being selfish on that because you need to be. And then after you're done being selfish on that, do it for other people. But make sure you're doing it for yourself first. I failed several times at stopping because I tried to do it for other people. But when I finally decided to do it for myself,
Yeah.
it's
It's tough, but you can get through it.
and the toughest part is admitting that you're weak to something.
Yeah.
And that's goes back to the mentality of I'm a strong man. If we didn't have that issue, we'd have a lot less addictions. I'll tell you that right now. Because driving that, being a strong man, I'm not weak, is why people don't quit doing drugs. Because why the fuck are they going to go quit doing drugs and admit they're weak from shit like that? That's
right.
You know, this toxic
Absolutely.
masculinity is horrible. Like, you can be a real man by knowing when to go to work for your family and not throw a punch. Being a man's not who you can fucking beat up. Being a man is knowing when to make the decision to continue positive actions for yourself and your family.
Absolutely.
Not being a fucking...
Oh, I'm the toughest guy in the bar kind of mentality. Like,
Or-
there's no need for that.
I watched my grandma die and didn't cry, and it just bothered me, and so I'm just gonna bottle it all up and then yell at my wife and kids and treat everybody like shit.
I'm just saying, guys, just open up a little more. Be a real man and open up. Like, there ain't nothing wrong with that. Again, when KAS looks at me as an inspiration because I quit drinking, that makes me feel good. It makes me want to continue to not drink. And like I said, when that happens with the local scene, that's why I'm so thankful for you guys. Like, that keeps me from having the urges. Like, I've gotten them since my hand's been broke, don't get me wrong. But, damn, at this point, it's like, I don't want to disappoint KAS. I can't drink. So it's been awesome. I really appreciate it. So, let's get off that topic. Let's get to a little pot. What do you like to do outside of music?
I like playing video games. I like watching sports. Pretty much it. I don't do much. I have a pretty lame life. I wake up, go to work, come home, work on music, go to bed.
That's not that lame, bro. Some people Some people are pretty envious of that. I'll tell you that because I can't write music, so I don't get to come home and write music. I come home and listen to the music you write,
Yeah.
which is pretty awesome to me. You know, so at least your life, you're all right.
Yeah,
You're
I mean,
a family man.
I work. My hours are stupid. I work at 3 o'clock in the morning every day, so it's like
That's one of them killer shifts.
it's like, oh, I can't really do much anyway. So I just come home during the day. No one's free to do anything anyway. It's like, well, I'll just work on music or I'll play some video games. So
No, and again, at least you're making the choices of better than sitting drinking by yourself at home.
yep. I mean, that's what I used to do a lot. It's just like, oh, I'm off work and grab a case, can sit around, drink, play some video games, work on music. And it got to the point where I would like to drink while I was working on music, but then it got to the point where I was just working on music so I can sit out there and drink. And
Yep.
that's where I knew I had a problem. I'm like, I'm not even like really working on anything. I'm just dragging it out
Yeah,
so I can be out here a little bit longer and
so I
drink
can
more.
make an excuse to drink more. Yep, I definitely had that path where it was a vicious cycle. So you kind of got to break them a little bit, but
And it's been wonderful. I mean, since then, I finished writing up the Confidential Volume 3. I wasn't gonna drop any album this year. I was just gonna drop singles, but things just kept coming to me. I'm like, oh wow, like this is what it's like again. I forgot, like I kind of lost it, and so I have that done. And my secret project is getting close done on part of it. So I mean, a lot of new stuff coming out.
that's one thing I noticed about when I quit drinking is I had motivation to actually do a little more.
Yeah, it's
You know,
not
I
like-
thought I was doing a whole lot when I was drinking. You know what I mean? If you
You
ask
do so little that.
if you ask drunk me, I was busy as fuck doing all kinds of things.
Oh yeah, it's like, oh, I'm busy. It's like,
But now, if you ask sober me, it's like, dude, I've done like 1,000 things more than I ever was when I was drinking.
yeah.
Like it's just, even just tiddly little things. Like you get more done around the house, and
Yeah, when you're more focused on other things instead of something else holding you back, it's like, oh, I wasn't doing very much. Okay.
it brings it into perspective.
It's like, and that's part of the reason why I quit drinking too, is like, I noticed it was starting, like I said, it was affecting my music and whatnot. I'm like, I didn't write anything for like a month or so. I'm like, this is not normal. Like, normally every week I have a new song I write or something. So,
Or at least a couple ideas. you
yeah,
know?
a couple ideas. And I'm just sitting there listening to things. I had nothing. I was like,
Or the worst part is you probably did have some really great ideas in your drunk head and forgot them the next morning when you woke up.
absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've had great, huge discoveries drunk and wake up the next morning racking my brain like,
It's like, oh, I know
fuck,
this.
I know
what
I was
it?
thinking something like, what the fuck? It was so cool last night. I don't miss them days.
No.
I don't miss them days at all. So, my final question, if you can go back to your younger self when you're first starting out, what advice would you give yourself?
Don't listen. Don't listen to the haters. Don't listen to the negative stuff. Because, I mean, there's a while I was part of a duo when I first started, like doing shows a couple of years ago, and we broke up and whatnot because there was a lot of arguments of people listening, like people talking like, oh, well, you need to drop KAS. You're not. I'm like, well, I'm kind of newer and nervous on the stage, and it really affected me. And now I can care less what anyone has to say. Like, so it's like, just don't listen to the negative stuff. Just keep doing you. Actually use it too. Like, actually use it.
Let
Don't
them
let it
haters
affect
inspire
you.
you.
Just like, oh, well, you don't think I'm good. Oh, well, I'm going to keep working on this. I'm going to do that. And it's like,
And just remember, half them people that are telling you that stupid shit don't have the balls to get up on stage and let you say the same thing to them.
absolutely.
Remember that. That's why, regardless if you think half this town is good or not, them fuckers are better than most of us because they're getting on stage letting people like me judge them. That's why I try to just be positive about it all. Sure, I can point out things that you suck at, but you know what? I'd rather point out things you're good at so you accentuate them. Because if you're good at something and you accentuate it, you're just going to get better. And then the stuff that you aren't good at will be less noticeable.
Absolutely. It's like, that's what I kind of like love about the artists in the scene. Like, there's not too much, oh, you suck, blah, blah, blah. I mean, there's a few people out there kind of like that, but
There's a small percentage, but most of what I really like is that honestly, everybody has done songs with everybody in town.
Yeah.
There's at least, like, I know, like, it's like 7 ways to Kevin Bacon in this town. You know, especially with surreal. That's one motherfucker that you can point out 7 ways to surreal, because I guarantee you, every artist that you talk to, you ask 7 questions in, and you're gonna get to surreal.
Yep. I mean, I do have a song with him as well. Like,
Everybody I know has been either he has been, you know, on the track just doing weird shit, or has helped press the vinyl.
yeah.
You know, whether or not he's on the track, he pressed the vinyl or helped get the CD made, you know, or came and DJ'd your first show, you know,
Yeah.
things like that. And it's because Zach is just one of them humans that wants to see this whole town grow.
Yeah,
and he's been there. He's been
here.
national touring.
Yeah,
you
he's
know?
like, in my opinion, like one of the true OGs of Omaha. Like him and Noise Wave, like they did a lot for the town and continue. Like him and Rowdy continue to
And
support everything in it.
no matter who it is, no matter what it is, these guys just, even genres, like they go through different genres and so forth.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just hip hop and rap. I see them going to metal shows and punk shows and rock shows.
There's times where there'll be like 3 or 4 shows going on at the same time, and they'll pop into each of them. It's like,
you know, and always constantly sharing stuff. So
Yeah.
again, 7 ways to surreal. Thank you. But so, since we're done jocking surreal, we'll call this a conclusion to our episode of the Mountain Jew Review with KAS the Prophet. And at that note, I want to thank him for being on.
thank you for having me on. It was awesome.
And since he's officially been on the Mountain Jew Review, KAS the Prophet is tramp stamp approved.
Hey.